Welcome, guys, to the first episode of Facilities and Property Management Radio. I'm your host, Javier Lozano, with CMI Mechanical, HVAC, and Refrigeration. And so, this is the first episode of this podcast that we'll be launching, and we've got a lot of stuff coming into the works as we continue to kind of build this podcast and this opportunity for lots of our property managers, facility managers, but also people that are in the trades that work with these commercial type businesses. And so what our goal is to basically make this podcast to be roughly like a TED Talk, if you will. If you're familiar with TED Talks, we want to stick with that 18-minute kind of time frame. And the goal is to really just deliver as much valuable content and information that's going to allow you to, help move your property management or your properties that you're managing or the facilities that you're managing, move to the next level and understand that there's a future in this industry of growth, opportunity, and just simply a way of making a great career out of it, okay? Again, my name is Javier Lozano. I am with CMI Mechanical. We are a nationwide HVAC refrigeration service provider. We work with all retails, all restaurants, property management companies, that sort of stuff throughout the United States. And so what I want to do is I want to talk to you about today's topic, okay? And so I've got this article actually that I pulled up about a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago that I commented in the Connects LinkedIn group and also commented on LinkedIn. It's about Foot Locker teaming up with Nike to create this power store, okay? And it's really interesting because they're complementary brands. I have it on my screen over here, but they're complementary brands, okay? And these two companies essentially they almost helped each other build each other to where they were, to where they are today. Foot Locker started selling obviously Nike-based products, Jordans and that sort of stuff, which started catapulting Foot Locker and also helping Nike kind of get their brand out there. And ultimately what that did is it really made them kind of do their own thing. They still sell each other's, they still kind of, help each other, if you will. But this new thing that's going on where Nike teaming up with Foot Locker is kind of huge because Nike doesn't typically team up with a lot of like retail type brands, if any at all. Okay. And it's really important to understand this because the reason they're doing this is because of the way the retail industry is shifting. Okay. And I'm going to kind of backpedal a little bit and go off of like what I posted in my blog, or not my blog, but on my LinkedIn page about 2 weeks ago, is that the retail industry is shifting and is shifting dramatically. Okay. And the reason it's shifting is because of all these other big players that are out there taking over this space. And when I say big players, I don't necessarily mean retail big players. I'm talking internet big players. Okay. I'm talking stores like Amazon. Okay. And not just Amazon. Amazon's just one example. But my point being here is that Amazon has really just changed the culture and changed the way we as consumers take things in. We are wanting now things on one-click demands and shipped tomorrow and here today and that sort of stuff. And I mean, Amazon is the first company to literally create the very first one-click buy. Okay. If you guys don't understand, this is the more clicks that you have to actually click on your website to buy something, the less likely you're going to have that person purchase that product or service. And so what happens is that as this continues, as this happens, then you start losing sales. And so Amazon realizes that as they're tracking all this data. And what they started doing is they started experimenting and do this one-click, purchase. And then they started adding this whole product called Prime, where you can actually have things shipped in 2 days, and you paid, $79 for this product or service, if you will. And it was free shipping and all this other stuff. And Amazon keeps continuously pushing the envelope and revolutionizing the retail industry, but for the internet. And so what's happening now is that we are experiencing this whole wanting things instantaneously, okay? We want things now. We want an experience that makes us happy, that we talk about, that we rave about. I mean, when was the last time you said, go to Walmart to go see how much that cost? No, what you do is if you're looking at something that, you see what it costs somewhere, now you do is you just pull out your phone and you basically see what it costs at Amazon. Okay. You can even scan barcodes. You can scan certain numbers and see if it pulls up on Amazon. You can compare prices. And then if you're like, that's cheaper on Amazon, I'll just buy it there. And so my point being is that Amazon has created this experience that is amazing for the consumer. Okay. People are excited to shop on Amazon. And granted, Amazon's margins probably aren't going to be super high. You're like, oh, how do they offer these, free shipping and all this other stuff? They obviously figure it out. But my point being is that they are tailoring the shopping experience to the consumer. And that's where I'm going back into the story with Nike and Foot Locker creating a mega store. Okay. They're basically teaming up, and essentially what they're doing is they're putting together a new type of store where you can go into their store and have a fun experience. They're going to be providing screens to be like more interactive, where you can be more engaged into their products. Okay. And I don't even know what the details are, but I'm just reading right here is that roughly 9,000 square foot store in Washington Heights. It was going to be the first location where Nike has brought some of the proper proprietary technology into another retailer's brick and mortar shop. And so they're going to be shooting to get roughly 50 stores over the next 3 years throughout the United States. And that's huge, guys. Okay. Just understand that getting 50 stores over the next, 3 years throughout the US is going to be a big thing. And the thing is that pairing of brands to create stronger, untied entity is a growing trend in the retail industry. And I believe this, that brands are going to start partnering with each other to start creating these better experiences. And so you need to create an experience in your restaurant, in your property, in your multi-site location, retail location. There has to be a positive experience from the minute you pull into that parking lot. Okay. And the reason I say this is that consumers are wanting things to almost be perfect, if you will. Okay. And why is this important? Because as soon as you set them off, they're going to go somewhere else and shop online. Okay. That is what's going on. And so how does this pertain to a facility manager? How does this pertain to an HVAC company? How does this pertain to a property manager? It pertains to them all the way 100%. Okay. I mean, as a facility manager, you're managing everything on that parking lot, on the exterior building, how the place feels inside with the heating and cooling, lighting, windows, how everything is clean, bathroom facilities, flooring, everything. You are managing all those moving parts. And so my point being is that a lot of these brands are starting to almost create, starting to merge. And not all, but some of them are starting to merge because they're taking what they offer here and this other company offers here, and they're like, we have something pretty good here. And they're putting them together, and they're trying to basically counteract this whole shift of like everyone buying online, buying on Amazon. I mean, it's just our culture has shifted on how we consume products now. And so in order for me to literally get my kids into a car, okay, put them in seatbelts, get my wife in there as well too, drive to the store, it's a mission. Okay. And even though where I live, I'm literally 5 minutes from the outlet stores. Okay. And so where I'm coming from is that it's the experience now has to be really, really good when I take my family out. Okay. I have to enjoy the shopping experience. That doesn't mean I have to buy something. I have to be happy that I went in there. I was greeted nicely. The place looked clean. It didn't smell. The bathrooms were clean. It wasn't too hot. The food was prepared correctly, all that stuff. And so consumer experience is really important. And how you do the consumer experience is really up to you, the business model of that company. Okay. Obviously, Nike and Foot Locker are trying to create this new consumer experience that's a little different. These power stores, basically what it's doing is that they're going to be having an interactive type screens where you can actually start like trying out products and seeing how you combine certain things. And it's getting people to the stores and having fun. If you recall back in the day when Blockbuster still existed, they had this thing called Blockbuster Music. And blockbuster music was a big deal a long time ago. Okay. And basically, the way blockbuster music works is that it essentially allowed you to grab a CD and you go to the front and you say, "Hey, I want to listen to the CD." And you can sit there and listen to the music before you bought it. No one had ever done that before. That was uncommon, was not normal. Okay. And what happened is that now consumers were able to buy a CD and not regret it. Do you see what I'm saying? They actually were able to sit down, listen to the tracks, like, oh, this is pretty good. Today, we're able to do that, but in a different format. We can go to iTunes and listen to like a lot of the tracks or some of the tracks before we buy an entire thing. Or we can just buy a single track. Okay? Consumer experience. And so what I'm trying to like share and explain here is that when you are managing your facilities, you want to have everything like perfect. That parking lot, there can't be trash out there. Okay. There can't be gum. There can't be, there's got to be a trash can where everything's, trash, and that trash has to be emptied on a regular basis. Okay. The windows need to be clean. All right. If there is marketing material on there because of promotions, that's fine. If there's nothing, then they need to not have like fingerprints and bird poop or anything like that. All right. The next thing is that the exterior of the building needs to look presentable. Okay. It needs to look like it's been power washed. It needs to look like it's been taken care of, or it's been updated with paint, or like if some of the lights are out, they need to be changed. Okay, because all these little things start going into the person's head and be like, man, those lights are out, or the parking lot, there's a few parking lights that are not on, and I don't want to shop here anymore. That's important. That's part of the consumer experience. Okay, and so the next thing is when you step in, like, I'm sorry to say this, but like, and I'm not just saying this because we are an HVAC company, but the heating and cooling needs to be spot on. Okay, heating and cooling can really affect people's how much time they're going to spend inside that facility. If it's too cold, people are going to leave. If it's too hot, people are going to leave. All right, and so you need to make sure that your units are running correctly. You've got filters being changed on a regular basis, once a quarter or however often it needs to be done, depending on your location. All right, you have belts being changed. You've got someone going in there and maintaining it or repairing it on a timely fashion. Okay, and that's just another aspect. Flooring, there shouldn't be like tiles missing. Okay, or just all sorts of stains, like those should be polished and cleaned on a regular basis. Bathrooms can make or break a facility. And you probably know this as well too. Bathrooms should be cleaned as well. And I shouldn't be telling people this, but what I'm trying to get to is that pay attention to what's going on in the retail industry. There's all this uproar and people saying that that retail is dying and retail is this and it's going down and so many businesses are going out of business. Here's the thing. It's probably a good thing that there are some retail chains and stores that are going out of business. I'm not saying that I'm happy that they go out of business, but it's probably a good thing because what that does is it allows other players to tighten up their systems, to tighten up their experience, to tighten up how they do things. It almost becomes a reality check. And I'll give you the best example is that about 11, 12 years ago, I owned a business. I opened a business in the height of the recession in 2008, 11 years ago. And it was the height of the recession. And I had to be really smart and strategic on how I spent my money. And so my point being here is that I didn't just spend my marketing dollars and just put a bunch of stuff out there and just hopefully some of the stuck. I had to be really strategic because everything I did was about getting return on my investment. So my bathrooms were clean, the facility looked clean. I always, cleaned the mats. I did all sorts of stuff. And so my point being is that I did everything I could to make people want to enjoy being there. And one of the things was having certain things done a certain way. And it allowed my consumers to come in and feel welcomed. A lot of martial arts studios were known for being, having stinky mats because People were barefoot, like that never happened. Or there was pee all over the bathroom, that never happened. I'm not saying that kids never did it, we just cleaned it up. And so what we want to, experience and understand is that consumers will spend money in your retail store if you create the experience that's memorable from the moment you like park into that parking lot. Lights are on correctly. It's not too bright. All sorts of stuff. Okay. And I can tell you from experience that really makes a difference in how your business is going to affect. And is it going to have an ROI? Yes, it totally is going to have an ROI. Does it cost money to invest in a new HVAC system? Yes, it does cost money to invest in that. But will it actually keep more consumers there? Probably, as long as you have the right staff there, as long as you have all these other things going on. And I understand as a facility manager or property manager, you're not responsible with the hiring of a store manager and the rest of the staff. I get that. But what you are responsible is setting the foundation of the experience. Okay? If you take pride in all those little things and the foundation of that experience is done correctly, then they're going to realize that, hey, this is how we do stuff in our store. This is the culture here. We need to hire people that fit this culture. So you'll hire the right store manager, and then they're going to hire the right, staff below them to fit that culture that you're looking for. And that's what the experience is. And I applaud Nike and Foot Locker to create these mega stores, because they're realizing that they need to have create a shopping experience that is memorable, that is fun for the consumers, that is different, okay? And it's going to let people that get out of their doors. I guarantee this, and I'll predict this right now. Once these start launching, okay, I guarantee what's going to happen is people are going to start, tweeting about this, putting this on Facebook, putting this on LinkedIn, that they're going to this mega store with Nike and Foot Locker, whatever they're going to co-brand it and what they're going to call it. And they did this, and like, look at me doing this and playing this, and they're going to do all that sort of stuff. That is the experience that they're trying to create, because that is today. That's what's going on today. And so that's what we need to understand as FMs and PMs, is that we need to be a part of that. And if you're in the trades, like if you're an HVAC company, if you're an asphalt company, you need to understand that the experience that these companies are trying to create also fall on you. So you need to understand and take pride that you deliver the same quality service that these retailers are looking for. Okay? The asphalt should look good. Okay? The lighting should be spot on. All that stuff. So I hope you guys understand, what this sounds like, and I hope you enjoyed this. So I'm going to be cutting this now because it's been roughly 18 minutes. And so again, this is basically our first episode of Facilities and Property Management Radio. I'm your host, Javier Lozano with CMI Mechanical. CMI is a national HVAC and refrigeration company. We service companies all over the United States when it comes to HVAC and refrigeration, heating and cooling, working on the most complex types of units like chillers, boilers, cooling towers to your normal package RTU. So if you have any questions, feel free to just send me a DM on LinkedIn or any other social media platform, because you will see me. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a powerful day, and I'll talk to you guys later.